Shalom. This is another video uh, talking about being this truth as a process, man. Like just like different stages in life you go through, from a baby all the way to being an adult. You got different stages, right? Before you can get to an adult, you gotta go through that teenage period. Before that teenage period, you gotta go through being an adolescent. For adolescent, you're a child. For a child, you're a baby, right? So again, you start out in this truth. Got to start out as a kid. You got to be taught all over again. We're all pretty much teenagers or adults in this truth, but coming into this truth, you got to start from scratch, right? You got to get the milk, as they say. Right? You got to start out as a seed, right? So let's get the book of Luke, chapter 8, verse number 11. It says, "Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of God." Read it again. It says that the seed is the word of God. So before you start out with anything, you have to start out as a seed. And the seed is symbolic, again, of the word. And if you don't have this word, you cannot move forward. You can't skip stages, right? You can't go from being a baby, again, to an adult. You have to be a child. You have to be an adolescent. You have to be a teenager. There's different stages. So with this seed, right, you have to have the word first, right? You have to have the sincere meaning of what the word is, right? And initially, what's this word? What comes with having a word is inherited Yahweh's laws, statutes, and commandments, right? That's God's law, statutes, and commandments. It's the milk, right? But before we get that, let's read 1 Corinthians 3, verse number 6, right? 1 Corinthians 3 and 6, because with all things, it comes from Yahweh. So you have to have the milk first, and then with that, you have to have the Lord to increase you as you grow more and more. So this is 1 Corinthians 3 and 6. It reads, "I have planted, Apollo watered." This is Apostle Paul. It says, "I have planted, Apollo watered, but Yahweh gave the increase." Right? So you can be a seed, you can be watered, but it's all up to the Lord if you're going to be rooted out, or, if you might not make it to those next developmental stages. It's all about Yahweh if he's going to give you the increase or not. Verse 7, it says, "So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but Yahweh that giveth the increase." So again, it's all based upon or predicated upon the Lord wants you to grow or not. And then after you start to grow in this truth, whether you're going to continue to, be an individualite, keep this knowledge and, the understanding of what you've received from the Lord, whatever he increased you with, are you going to continue to be, keep all of those talents for yourself? Or are you going to multiply those talents and bring forth fruit? Right? This is 1 Peter. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2 and 11. Understanding what it takes to grow. Because again, you need food to grow. Spiritual food to grow in this truth. Right? Not literal food. Again, yeah, you need literal food, carnal food. But it's all about the spiritual food in this truth. This is what this is about. This is what this lesson is about. It says, this is 1 Peter 2 and 2. "As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby." Again, that milk is the law, such commandments. right? So after the milk, once you get a fully understanding, and once you start, being weaned off the milk, you understand God's laws. Then you can get the honey, you get the oil, right? Which is symbolic of His truth. Then you can get the bread. Then you can get the meat, right? The things that are, a little bit more, concrete. Uh, the different types of parables. Then you can get the wine, which is a deeper meaning of things, right? The deeper meanings of the scriptures. Going in the book of Revelations, the deep parables and mysteries in Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Once you grow and you have a good foundation, then you can start breaking these scriptures down, precept upon precept, getting the deep mysteries of this book that, the Lord isn't revealing to everybody. So again, once you get this truth, once you're planted, you know what I'm saying? Once you plant it as a seed and you're born in this truth, then you start drinking. As a babe, you start drinking the milk. After the milk, you start getting the oil and the honey. All right, so let's get that real quick too in the book of Job. All right, let's get that in the book of Job real quick. It's the book of Job. I'll just type it in. Job. Job. I believe that's verse 29 or 28. That's 28 and 6. It says to wash my foot for oil. Yeah, it's 29 and 6. Bear with me. Job 29, verse number 6. It says, when I wash my steps with butter, right, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil. Right, so again, this butter, right, and this oil is talking about going into this truth. Right, because what is the oil? Well, the oil is what ignites your fire. And this fire, basically, when you read about like Matthew 3 and 11, like this fire is His word. Everything is predicated about this word, the law, statutes, commandments, right? The butter, right? The oil. That's why it says, when I wash my steps with butter, right? With this truth, this knowledge and understanding, also going into wisdom, it says, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil, right? Even you'll hear verses about, water coming out of a rock. That's spiritual. This is spiritual as well. Read that again. When I wash my steps with butter, and the rock poured me out rivers of oil. Now we know literally that a rock can't pour out oil. But Job is talking about, this truth being poured out, right? This knowledge and this wisdom that he's receiving, right, through the Spirit. Right, then, like I said, once you start getting this milk, then you start getting this, butter, you get this oil, then you can get the bread, right? This bread is also symbolic of the word. Let's go to Matthew. It's like John. That's why I want John. All right. John 3, verse number 3. And it reads, Yahweh shall answer and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yahweh. So again, in this truth, you got to be born again. You have to tear down basically everything that you've been taught, everything that you've known, being a Christian, going to church, being told you can come as you are. Like, all of that It has to be, all these strongholds has to be torn down. You have to be weaned from the milk and be taught as a babe. Again, as a seed. In that seed, you become a child. As a child, you drink the sincere milk. And then as a child, you start drinking milk, you start building up your bones and able to take, the Gerber food. Then you're allowed to, get in the chewed up form of, meat, and you're able to eat that. And then you start eating the meat on your own, digest that, and to start taking more and more solid food as you grow. But you have to, understand you have to have a strong foundation in order to get this other solid food, right? Let's get Matthew 4 and 4. That's what I wanted. Matthew 4 and 4. Matthew chapter 4, verse number 4. It says, "But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh." So this is Yahweh Shai saying that, hey man, you just can't live by bread, right? You can't just live by spiritual or carnal food. You have to live by this word, every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh. And what comes out of the mouth of Yahweh? These words, this Bible, right? The things that are commanded for us to do. So here Yahweh Shah is even telling us, hey, you just can't live by bread. You just can't live by spiritual, literal food. You gotta have this spiritual food. These laws, statutes, and commandments. That's gonna build you up. That's gonna get you out of this world. That's gonna allow you to receive salvation. Right? Again, because everybody's not gonna have the chance to get this spiritual food. Right? Everybody's not going to get a chance to, even if they do, some people are going to be rooted out. They're not going to be deeply rooted. Where there's different type of spirits that's going to root them out. And at the end of the day, it's Yahweh that's going to have it as to where you're not going to multiply the talents that you get. So that's why it's very important when we tell our people that you're an Israelite. It's not enough to know that you're an Israelite. You have to have the sincere milk. You have to have the sincere word. Make sure that you have an understanding of the law, statutes, commandments, and build off that foundation so you can eat more spiritual food. Right? Let's get this to Mark 8 and 8. All right, this is the book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 8. It says, "So they did eat and were filled, and they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets. And they that had eaten were about 4,000, and he sent them away." So you have to, even though this is a literal, uh, aspect of them eating, but it can also be spiritually when they were filled when they received Yahweh Shai, when they received the Lord, right? And you can be filled that way. A lot of times when he was healing people, when he was showing the people in the different coasts, Tiberia, Capernaum, Jerusalem, when he was going forth to teach the ministry. A lot of the Jews were filled. Some believed, some didn't believe. But a lot of them did believe. And guess what? They were filled with the word. So, to understand that, yeah, it's okay to be filled with food, but you also have to be filled with this word. This is the book of John. Move on to the next one. John. 4 and 32. No, that didn't come up. I don't know why that didn't come up. John. Okay. John chapter 4. Back into this. 4 to 32. It said, but he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. So I'm going to start at verse 30. It says, they went out of the city and came unto him. In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. Therefore said the disciples one to another, have any man brought him aught to eat? Basically, they ask him, did anybody bring him anything to eat? And verse 34 says, Yahweh saith unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. So the Lord is saying, hey, I don't need no food. All I need is the spiritual food. All I need is his word, and that's going to be sufficient for the Lord. The Lord is saying, hey, I got meat. I got the spiritual food that you don't know about. I'm filled with it. I'm filled with nothing but the word. I'm a walking book. I'm a walking prophecy. The Lord is telling them that, hey, you don't always have to have literal food to survive. You can survive off this word, off this manna, right? Hey, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you had the spiritual gifts that Yahweh had, you would never hunger, right? Because you'd be filled with so much knowledge, so much truth, so much wisdom that all of that would be in your hind part, right? You would have so much knowledge, so much truth to spread, to give, that you wouldn't even be thinking about food, because you'd be so on fire with healing people. So the Lord is telling them, hey, I got food that you don't even know about. I got so much fuel that's gonna light a fire under me and to you as well, and to these other people. That's gonna keep me going. That's gonna push me, right? So let's get one more. Actually, I got a couple more. Right, a couple more precepts. Right, and again, this is all a process of being in this truth. And this is 1 Corinthians 10, verse number 3. This is Moses. This is my brethren. I would not that you should be ignorant of that all our fathers under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and the sea. And they all eat the same spiritual meat. And it says, verse 4, and they all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock. There it goes again. God brought out in Job 28th chapter or the 29th chapter, how when they hit the rock, water came out. But in this context, it says, hey, that spiritual rock that came out of Job was what? Oil. Right? And this spiritual rock right here that it's talking about, it says, read verse 4 again, and they all drink that same spiritual drink, for the drink of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Right? So that spiritual drink, that word is talking about Yahweh Shai. Right? You read about the lady in the well. He told her, "Hey, I got a drink that you know not of." All right, let's get that. I believe that's John 4:32. I think I just brought that out too. John 4. He tells her, lady at the well. Let me see. So I think I'm gonna start at verse number 11. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Yahushua answered, saying unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. Talking about the water in the well, the literal water. But then he says, But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him, right, which is the word of Yahweh. It says, shall never thirst. Because you can never ever get tired of drinking this word. Right? You would never be thirsty when you come into this knowledge of the truth. Right? Because it's just like a water fountain. This water is always going, man. It's always going. Right? It says, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water spring up into everlasting life. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, never come hither to draw. So here you see that, hey, the Lord is saying, hey, he's just a well of spring of water. Hey, you would never be thirsty after this water. You'll never be thirsty again. Because this fountain is everlasting. It ain't gonna never shut off. Right? And that's what you receiving when you come into the knowledge of this truth. There's a well of springing water that's gonna be eternal. And that's what we tell our people, man. Come into this truth, hey, you would never be thirsty. You would never be hungry again. Because it's infinite. This knowledge, this truth, this understanding, wisdom, it's all infinite. Again, and once you get these things, hey, you get the wine. You get to drink the yan, which is the wine. Hey, and get a little bit of taste of, something different. But if you don't understand that, then you can't drink the wine, right? Let's get the book of Micah 2:11. Sloppy, cold. All right, this is Micah 2 and verse number 11. It says, if a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people. Right. So, you might think that, oh yeah, he walking in the spirit, but then it says, and falsehood do lie. And a lot of our people, they're unable to detect when somebody's, walking in the spirit and in falsehood, meaning they're hypocrites, they're liars, like a lot of these pastors. And they say, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and strong drink. Ye shall even be the prophet of this people. And that's how a lot of our people are. A lot of our people like to receive these pastors, these prophets, so-called prophets, who teach them, this wine and strong drink. What is this wine? The deeper meaning of things, right? The things that sometimes can be hard to be understood. And if you don't understand it, this is why you have to have the milk. And a lot of our people, they don't like the milk. They don't want the milk. Why? Because they don't even keep God's commandments. So before they get this milk, they drinking a wine and they have no understanding. And that's why the whole Christian church is out of order, because those pastors are telling the people, or they're giving the people the strong drink, meaning they're telling them to, giving them Bible verses like John 3:16, where God so loves the world. And it's confusing their whole mind, it's confusing their whole thought process. Like they're not teaching the people their nationality so they can get the strong foundation of who they are, and they're giving them these different doctrines, which is destroying their mind. Right. Another one is white Jesus. That's part of the wine. That's part of that strong drink, Christianity. telling them that, they're Catholic or Church of God in Christ or Baptist and Methodist. All these different things is when it was just talking about when it says, uh, uh, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and strong drink. And that's why it says he shall even be the prophet of his people. Because again, these people love to hear that feel good song, right? Our people love to be seduced by these different doctrines and these different words. They like to skip stages. They don't want to learn their nationality. They don't want to keep God's law. They don't want to put down the shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. They don't want to stop celebrating birthdays. They don't want to stop fornicating. They don't want to stop smoking weed and being drunkards. They don't want to keep the Sabbath day. They love to be seduced by this wine of this world, by these different prophets, by these different pastors. So that's why you have to watch the wine that you're given. You have to watch this wine that you're given, right? And then again, that's why we tell our people before you drink this wine, before you get this strong drink, you got to get the milk first. You have to be rooted in this milk. And if you're not rooted in this milk, then you can be, taking out this truth. Again, this truth is, you know, just like anything else, you know, like human development, like I was saying earlier. A butterfly can't be a butterfly without going through the stages of being a caterpillar. A plant can't be a plant without first being a seed, right? So you need the correct word. You need this milk actually to be rooted in this truth through Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Malak Yahushai, right? Let's go to Colossians. Go to Colossians chapter 2, verse number 7. It says, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So you want to make sure that you're rooted and you built up in him and established in the faith. Who is it? Who is it? Him? It's Yahweh Shai. You want to make sure that you're, built up so much in this truth that you're understanding that through faith, you can receive salvation, right? Through faith, you're keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. But before you're rooted and built up in Him, you have to keep God's laws first and foremost. Back to the basics. Oh, let's start at verse 6. As ye have therefore received, as ye have therefore received Christ Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai, the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So, you have to be rooted and built up in the Mashiach Yahushai. And then, it's like you have to be rooted and built up in this word, and coming in as a seed, drinking the milk, and then you come into this truth, the understanding of it. You're built up in Yahweh Shai, which through Him you receive salvation, right? Because you can't be, that's what we're saying with these different churches and philosophies and doctrines. You can be kind of rooted out of this thing, man. And you don't want to be rooted out with all these different doctrines, right? Let's go to Ephesians, right? Mighty book Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 14. It says that we henceforth be no more children. Right? So once you get this milk, once you got Yahweh Shai, It says, "Be no more children tossed to and fro." Meaning, once you get this milk, and you get the bread and you get the meat, and you're not going to be tossed to and fro. You got your hour shot, you're not going to be tossed to and fro. It says, "And carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach." You see that? You see that? So you have to be speaking his truth in love. What is love? The commandments, right? It says, even Hamashiach. So again, once you receive this milk, coming in, as a seed being born all over again, right? And you receive Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Because if you don't have Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, we see a lot of people get rooted out, right? We're not going to say no names, but brothers in here, they don't believe in Yahweh Shah, and guess what? They're going to be rooted out really soon, real quickly. This is just like how it says, tossed to and fro by the sleight of men, right? By the sleight of men. Men don't even have understanding. Men that don't even believe in the New Testament. Guess what? They carry away to every wind of doctrine. Doing what? Whereby they lie in wait to deceive. And that's how you get tossed to and fro. That's how you get rooted out of this truth. Right? Got a few more. Look at Matthew. Chapter 13. Verse number 3. It says, "And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and where forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and thorns sprung up and choked them. But the other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100, some 60, and some 30. So this is what you want to do. Once you receive this word, once you believe in Yahweh Shai, you accept this truth, understanding who you are, according to Scripture, understanding you are an Israelite, and the Lord is going to give you the ability to bring forth fruit. Now, you don't want to, hide your talents. You don't want to, the Lord give you the ability to understand the truth. You don't want to hide this truth. You want to, share it with multiple people. Now, spiritually, the Lord is going to, give you or show you, who to, plant another seed to. Again, He's going to get the increase. So, with this truth, understand that you're not just, hiding this truth. As He's saying, you covering your light and hiding it underneath the bushel. Think roughly paraphrasing, and that's Matthew 5:14. So, again, understand this. You know, once you get in this truth, once you go through these different stages and processes, where you at in this truth may not be where you want to be. That's why you continue to pray, read, study, fast to fight these different demons, to fight these spirits. They're going to attack you. So, on your way to, increasing, we have to understand that, we have to exercise patience, and also that the Most High is preparing us what He's already prepared for you, what He's already prepared for us. I'm gonna say it again. The Most High is preparing us what He's already prepared for us. Meaning, no matter what, at the end of the day, the Most High already have a plan for you. He already has a plan, whether it's going to be for you to increase or decrease. That's why it's very important that you have to stay deeply rooted in this thing, right? So you won't get rooted out. And that's pretty much all I have on that. Until next time, shalom.